Namaste, Khushro Bidya. Myself JV and Dr. Khushbu Verma from Faculty of Agriculture and Veterinary Science. Today we are going to discuss about translation process, and this session is related to course Molecular Biology of program MSc Microbiology and MSc Biotechnology second sem. So what is translation? So basically translation process is the synthesis of protein from messenger RNA. So component of the translation apparatus are basically tRNA. It is basically required for the amino acid binding or transportation from the preparation site to the messenger RNA sites. And ribosomes we need requirement, and messenger RNA and the genetic code we need. If, if we talk about the prokaryotic translation process, so prokaryotic translation process they have 70s ribosome, tRNA, amino acids, and specificity and fidelity of the amino acylation. And in the eukaryotic translation, they have initiation factors, initiation complex, initiation, elongation, and termination process. So, translation is the process in which a sequence of nucleotide triplets in the messenger RNA gives rise to a specific sequence of amino acids during the synthesis of a polypeptide chain or protein. Translation process occurs in cytosol and requires the involvement of the protein synthesizing units like ribosome, messenger RNA, tRNA, amino acids, amino acyl RNA synthetase, and several other proteins. First of all, DNA synthesizes the messenger RNA by transcription process. Then, after the formation of the messenger RNA, it decodes the proteins, and this process is known as translation process. If we talk about the general scheme of the translation process, so we have to go for the overview of translation process. You can simply see this is the messenger RNA when transcription process occurs. So simply one strand of the messenger RNA will go to the ribosome unit where it arranged in the messenger RNA binding site, and on the other hand tRNA comes along with its specific amino acid. These tRNA bind to the messenger RNA with their anticodon complementary sequence with the messenger RNA codes. And after the binding of tRNA along with amino acid with messenger RNA, next tRNA along with amino acid will come, and then this tRNA messenger RNA complex will move forward, and the amino acid will shift to the second first amino acid will shift to the second amino acid, and the peptide bond will be created in between two amino acids. So that's how protein chain can be formed by the amino acid, by the tRNA. This is amino acid, this is the tRNA, and this is the complex which is known as amino acyl tRNA, and this process is known as amino acylation. If we talk about the protein synthesis components which are required for the translation process, so first one is the messenger RNA, second is ribosome, amino acids, tRNA, magnesium ions, amino acyl tRNA synthetase enzyme, one and second, and initiation, elongation, and termination factors are also required for the translation process. So if we talk about like tRNA, so tRNA is having clover leaf model. Here you can simply see this is the third dash end having OH group and CCA, and on the other hand it is having DHU loop, TYC loop, and the anticodon loop which is having anticodons complementary to the messenger RNA genetic code. and amino acids bind to the tRNA by amino acylation process, and amino acid bind to the third dash end with the CCA, and this site is basically binding site for the amino acid, and this is the anticodon region for the serine A AGU, and this is complementary to the serine anticodon present on the messenger RNA. So this is the binding site of for messenger RNA codon with amino acid tRNA. If we talk about the ribosomes, so ribosomes are also involved in the translation process. In prokaryotic translation process, 70S ribosome is involved, but in on the other hand, in eukaryotic translation process, 80S RNA is involved in the ribosome is involved in the translation process. Each ribosome is having two ribosomal subunits, larger and smaller. You can simply see the structure of ribosome, large and subunit. This is large unit, this is a small unit. It is having P site, A site and E site, and this fourth site is messenger RNA binding site. A site means amino acyl site, P means peptidyl site, and E means exit site. A site is basically binding site for the first amino acylated tRNA. P site is basically binding site for the peptidyl tRNA, and E site basically binding site for the uncharged tRNA. These sites are present at the interface between the small and the large subunit of the ribosome. As we already know that prokaryotic ribosomes are having 70S, on the other hand eukaryotic ribosomes are having 80S. So in the 70S, large subunit is having 50S, and small subunit is 30S, and large subunit is having 5S rRNA and 23S rRNA, and on the other hand 30S subunit is having only 16S rRNA. On the other hand, in the eukaryotic ribosomes, 80S ribosome, and which is having 60S large subunit having 5S rRNA, 28S rRNA, and 5.8S rRNA. On the other hand, small subunit of eukaryotic ribosome is 40S, and it is having 18S rRNA. If we talk about the components required for the five major stages of protein synthesis in E. coli, so we talk about stage 1, which is activation of amino acid. So it requires 20 amino acids, 20 amino acyl tRNA synthetase enzyme, 32 or more tRNA, ATP, magnesium ions. Second stage is initiation of translation process. So in this process we require messenger RNA and formyl methionine tRNA, initiation codon in messenger RNA which is AUG, 30S ribosomal subunit, 50S ribosomal subunit, initiation factor which is IF1, IF2, IF3, GTP and magnesium ions. Third stage is elongation process in which we need functional 70S ribosome, means initiation for the initiation complex progression, and amino acyl tRNA specified by the codons. Elongation factors we require EFTU, EFTS, EFG, GTP and magnesium ions we also require. Fourth step or fourth stage is termination and release. Termination codon in messenger RNA, we require release factors like RF1, RF2 and RF3. Fifth step or fifth stage is folding and post-translation processing. So in this, we require essential components like specific enzymes, cofactors and other components for removal of initiating residues and signal sequences, additional proteolytic processing, modification of the terminal residues, and attachment of the phosphate methyl carboxyl carbohydrate or prosthetic groups. First of all, we need to prepare amino acid with of the binding with tRNA, and this process is required ATP along with the magnesium ion. So amino acid bind to the tRNA and they create the amino acid tRNA complex. And this process is catalyzed by the amino acid tRNA synthetase enzyme. One synthetase for each amino acid, a single synthetase may recognize multiple RNA and or the same amino acid. Amino acid tRNA synthetase basically have two classes. First one is the class 1, which is monomeric and acetylase the second hydroxyl group on the terminal ribose. In the case of second class, it is basically dimeric enzyme and it acetylase the third dash OH on the terminal ribose. If we talk about the initiation factors, uh, basically protein factors required for the initiation of the translation in bacteria and eukaryotic cells. So if we talk about the bacterial cell, so there are three factors of initiation: IF1, IF2 and IF3. IF1 basically prevents the premature binding of tRNA to A site, and IF second facilitates the binding of F methionine tRNA to 30S ribosomal subunit. IF3 function is basically to binds to 30S subunit, prevents the premature association of 50S subunit, and enhances specificity of T site for F methionine or tRNA. In case of eukaryotic cells, there are initiation factors for translations are different, like EIF2, which basically facilitates the binding of initiating methionine tRNA complex to 40S ribosomal subunit. Next one is the EIF2B, EIF3. First factors basically to bind 40S subunit, small subunit, and facilitate the subsequent steps. Means if they bind, then next bindings will occur and next processes will occur for the initiation of the translation process. Next step or next initiation factor is IEIF4A. It basically helps in the RNA helicase activity, which removes the secondary structure in the messenger RNA to permit the binding to 40S subunit, part of the EIF4F complex. Next one is the EIF4B. It binds to the messenger RNA, facilitates the scanning of messenger RNA to locate the first AUG codon for the methionine. And then EIF4E. It basically binds to the 5' cap of the messenger RNA. It is basically part of the EIF4F complex. Next initiation factor is EIF4G. It binds to the EIF4E and to poly A binding protein, which is PAB, and basically it is part of the EIF4F complex. And next initiation factor is EIF5. It basically promotes the disassociation of several other initiation factors from 40S subunit as a prelude to association of 60S subunit to form complete initiation complex of ATS. Last initiation factor is EIF6. Basically, it facilitates the disassociation of inactive ATS ribosome into 40S and 60S subunit, means it breaks down the ATS complete subunit into its subunit of 60s large subunit and 40s small subunit. Now we can see the overall initiation process by this diagram. So you can simply see this is 30th subunit where the half portion of P site and half portion of A site. IF3 and IF1 comes in prokaryotic initiation method, and then these initiation factors when bind to the small subunit, they initiate the binding of messenger RNA on the messenger RNA binding site and AUG arranged in the P site. Next, IF2 initiation factor comes along with the GTP, and amino acyl tRNA also comes. It is having anticodon UAC complementary to the AUG. Now it comes and bind to the AUG with its anticodon in the P site. And this is the initiation factor 3 and an initiation factor 1. This is initiation factor 2 with GDP. Now 50s subunit come and GTP hydrolyze and becomes GTP and one phosphate group releases. Along with that, IF1, IF2 and IF3 also releases, and now this is complete complex which is having messenger RNA along with the AUG arrangement in the P site and amino acyl tRNA binded with the AUG with its complementary codon UAC in the P site having methionine complex, methionine amino acid, and this is the complete complex which is known as 70S initiation complex. Next we are going to the elongation process of translation. You can simply see this is the initiation complex. In the P site, first amino acid is arranged and second amino acyl tRNA will come and bind into the A site. This is second amino acyl tRNA. Now peptide bond formation starts in between these two amino acids, and amino acid 1 leave the first tRNA and move towards the second tRNA, and it bind to the amino acid, and now this tRNA is completely uh, basically it is inactive because it is not having any amino acid. So now it will shift to the exit site, and amino acyl tRNA second will shift now to the P site. So this is the elongation process, and this process occurs repetitively, means first one will release from the exit site and second will come to the P site, and next third amino acyl tRNA will come and bind to the A site, and then second amino acyl tRNA amino acid will release, will bind to the third amino acid with peptide bond, and now it will release from the second tRNA, and then second tRNA will be inactive because it is not having any amino acid, so it will move from P site to the E site, and third amino acyl tRNA will move from A site to the P site. So this process is a repetitive process, and it becomes in like a circular manner. You can simply see again, like this is inactive tRNA, but this translocation process occurs with the help of elongation factors EFG, and which is basically bind to the GTP. Now when it comes into the elongation process, GTP hydrolyzes and which converts into the GDP and phosphate group releases, and along with that elongation factor G is also released. tRNA, first tRNA shift to the exit side and second tRNA along with two amino acids shift to the P side, and third amino acyl tRNA come and bind to the A side. So this process, elongation process, occurs repetitively. And now come to the termination process. When translation process completely happens, so when termination codon come into the messenger RNA, which is UGA, UAG or UAA. When it comes, so release factor comes and bind to the A site with the UAG complex, or UAA or UGA binds. Now when bind the release factor in the A site, it gives a signal into the P site, and this last amino acid tRNA releases the chain of polypeptide, and now it is also becomes inactive. So this tRNA is also shift into the exit site and then release, and release factor will also becomes released. So that's how termination process occurs, but it happens only when termination codon will come. It can be UAG, it can be UAA, it can be UGA. Here you can see the micrograph shows a largely polyribosomes in the prokaryotic cells. This is TM structure, and this flowchart basically represents an amine and messenger RNA molecule is generally translated simultaneously by several ribosomes in clusters called polyribosomes. If we talk about the eukaryotic protein synthesis, so eukaryotic translation is basically similar to the prokaryotic process, but much more complicated than that of the prokaryotes, because they are having some more difficult processes in the translation process. So this is the sum up of this session, and in this session we uh, have some key points for the examination purpose for the competitive exams. Like, you have to know about the types of initiation factor in translation process and what is the role of specific initiation factors. Along with that, we have to know, like, how tRNA binds to the amino acids, how they create the amino acyl tRNA, and what is the role of anticodon in the translation process, and what are the names of the sites present in the ribosomes subunits. So these are the key points related to the translation process, and this session is sum up now, and this session is powered by digital version 2.0 Jyoti Vidyapeeth Women's University Jaipur. If you have any query, then mention in the comment box. I will resolve it. Thank you.